All right, boys. Today we got another Dan Screen Takes video, another Dan video, man. We've already done Arc 1 and Arc 2. This time, we're going to be tackling Arc 3, man. You know what I'm saying? One of, if not the best anime arc, right? The ReZero arc that everyone loves. And I'm very excited to see what he has to say about it in this analysis video, man. What did we miss? The meanings, right? The true meaning of Arc 3, right? This one is called ReZero's third arc is perfectly written. And that's facts. That title alone is facts, bro. Let's get into it.
Could I possibly
What up?
say
Run it
about
back.
what could I possibly say about ReZero's third arc that hasn't already been said? Arc 3, which consists of episodes 12 through 25 of the first season, is some of the finest television I've ever watched.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're anything like me, every time you try to explain to your friends just how smart ReZero actually is, they look at you like you've lost your mind.
Yep. I have one friend. I have one friend that recommended me ReZero years ago, and everyone else. Okay, so I have one friend that watched ReZero, and everyone else hasn't. Like I have like 4 or 5 friends that have now watched a single lick of ReZero, and then I have one who's like base as fuck. He recommended me ReZero years ago. I never got to it. I never watched it, and I guess I'm glad I never did because we got content on it now. But but yeah, I have a W friend that recommended me ReZero, so that's the only person I can really talk about ReZero with. I ain't gonna lie, but yeah.
This video is made for you, so that you know you're not crazy. I see you and I feel your pain.
Okay.
While I usually like to pick a select few topics to dissect, I'm mixing it up, as I'll be going through the entire arc, starting from Act 1. No, from 0. Sorry, I
Okay.
had to do it.
I see
Much
what
of
you
the
did there.
discussion of ReZero, this arc in particular, is centered around the way it deconstructs and reconstructs the tropes of the isekai genre. I've covered that too, but that discourse has been done to death at this point, honestly, so this is different. Like my previous arc-by-arc analysis videos, I'll be looking at the invisible ink of the story, to use the phrase from Brian McDonald's book of the same name. Invisible ink is the writing below the surface of the words. Most people will never see or notice it, but they will feel it. I normally pull from many different sources, but I'll mostly be sticking with McDonald's book throughout this whole video, with a couple exceptions, because I think it's best for my purposes here. First, I'll outline what this arc is trying to accomplish thematically. Then, I'll analyze each act in the 3-act story structure to show how it hits all the right beats to convey its message. ReZero's third arc is perfectly written, and this is why.
Hell yeah.
The armature. To start, we need to identify what this arc is even about, so we can see the many ways it effectively delivers that message to the audience. Everyone has a different way to express it, but Brian McDonald refers to the meaning of a story as the armature. He writes, "The armature is the idea upon which we hang our story. It is what you want to say with your piece." The word theme is often used in very unspecific ways, and a single story can have multiple themes, as this arc does.
Oh yeah.
But the term armature identifies a central underlying theme, and it makes it clear that the entire story is built on top of it. Here's what I came up with for Arc 3's armature. In order to mature, you must look beyond yourself and be mindful of others' feelings and perspectives.
Ooh. And you know what? That already makes so much sense for Subaru's entire arc, character arc here, bro. This is the first thing that comes to mind with this is literally not even just like the people that he like interacted with in that arc, like the whole Rem thing. The entire like episode 18, right? You know, like when he kept like pretty much like putting himself down, saying like, you know, he like the whole like thing of like pretty much like him saying that he hates himself, that he, you know, he's a failure and all that, and pretty much Rem pretty much counter arguing and being like, what about the Subaru that I see, right? What about her perspective, right? Because from her perspective, he is the GOAT, right? Her hero, like pretty much like, you know, the person that she loves, right? Like it's all about, you know, the other perspectives and how other people feel as well. It's not just about your own perspective and how you know, pretty much see yourself. So you know, that yeah, there's a lot of that is very very true. Yeah.
In this arc, Subaru has to learn to see past the initial assumptions and expectations he built up for others in his head due to his own insecurities. Love is the primary area of focus for how this is explored, but far from the only one. The arc dramatizes the armature in several ways to get an emotional impact, and characters will often spell it out to Subaru directly. Everything in the story is designed on top of that armature, and once you notice all the details that reinforce that, both big and small, you really appreciate how solid the writing in this arc is.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the different perspectives is also a very important thing when you really think about it, because like, you know, all of the like, we actually like went through like pretty much everyone's perspective, huh? Like we saw like what Crush was like, Anastasia, Priscilla, um Emilia, right? Emilia's perspective on how she was like feeling and how like she felt seeing Subaru, right? When he pulled up for the first time in episode, I think it was like 17, right? Episode 17, after Subaru like got past the white whale and shit, and he pulled up to the mansion, and how Emilia felt, and you know how, you know, the entire like, they literally saw each other like last with the whole arguing, right? They argued in episode 13 and like that entire moment. And Subaru, but from Subaru's perspective, it's been a fucking battle, and it's been way way different, right? So like that's already two different perspectives out, like in like the story. So
For instance, Subaru starts the story in his own head and out of touch with others' perspectives.
yes.
And guess what? To show he's changed by the end, the story has him literally share perspectives with Julius via his next spell. It's brilliant. It's all very obvious when you realize it, and that's a good thing. This helps ReZero resonate so much. It actually has something to say, and it articulates it with impressive clarity. With that in mind, now I can break down the arc act by act, to highlight how structurally sound it is, and to show all the ways it's written on top of that armature.
Bet, let's go.
Act 1. Before the arc can reach the emotional depths of The Outside of Madness, there's some important setup that needs to be done. As McDonald explains, Act 1 tells the audience everything they need to know to understand the story that is to follow. The first act of Arc 3 does exactly this, even if you didn't realize it.
Yep.
The arc begins with Subaru having fun with the villagers a couple months after the last arc, when he helped save them from the mob beast's attack. He's in a place of stability and contentment, except that almost immediately gets undercut when he starts reflecting on his actions in the last arc, ending with the line, "Wait, did I even do anything at all?" It's disguised as a silly joke, but it tells us he's discontent with his own abilities. We're less than a minute in, and it already established the key to all of Subaru's decisions throughout the rest of the story.
Wow, damn, yeah, that lot. Again, I would, again, eventually when I rewatch ReZero, bro, eventually whenever that day happens, bro, I just know, damn, like lines like that, bro, because like lines like that, maybe you can like notice it, maybe you'll notice it, or like barely at all, like at the first watch, but once you rewatch the show, bro, and you really like pick up on like these like cues, like these lines, like holy shit, yeah, there's already like a minute into the fucking arc, bro is already talking about like, did I really even do anything at all, and already reflecting on himself. Literally what we're gonna see in the future in the arc too. Like what?
He's insecure.
Yep.
Following that, he feels excluded when Amelia meets with Ferris without him. Instead of respecting her boundaries, he sneakily tries to get information from Wilhelm about the discussion. Then he manages to talk himself into tagging along with her to the capital, despite her reluctance. Subaru disregards Amelia's feelings and involves himself in her affairs because, as was established just moments ago, he feels useless, and he doesn't want to feel useless. Look at that. We've seen exactly what's going to happen later, just on a smaller scale.
That's crazy.
Subaru's true motivation is clearly displayed in these early interactions. As we enter the capital, we get many moments where Subaru is depicted in a childlike way, falling out of the dragon carriage, having Amelia hold his hand to guide him, that sort of stuff. This is why I specifically mentioned maturity when identifying the armature. We're shown his childish portrayal here in the beginning, and we'll see how that changes by the end. There's a few small moments I want to bring up before we get to the main event. First, Subaru tries to save Priscilla from thugs as if she were a damsel in distress, much to her repugnance. Then there's Subaru's reaction to Ferris being male, where he asks what even the point is of him looking like that if he's a guy. Ferris directly calls him out on this too, noting that it was Subaru who had the wrong idea. Here he is building up assumptions about people in his head and getting disappointed when they don't match what he wanted and or expected. We'll see this to a much larger degree later.
Yeah, like the assumptions, like the way that he sees people as well, like it's all in his head, and then he tries to pretty much push those ideas and like those thoughts onto other people as well. Like especially also if, like, for example, I mean, an amazing example is just the Emilia thing, right? In episode 13, the version of Emilia that he sees is like the perfect, like, ideal, like, best girl, because episode 1, right, she's the one who saved them, and pretty much he pretty much like wanted to just like pretty much be by her side and save her and all that. But then Emilia, from her perspective, she doesn't know that at all. She doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about, right? And that's already one example of like pretty much the idea of Subaru and his perspective compared to other people, and also pretty much trying to push those ideas onto other people, even though they probably won't understand or know what the fuck bro is even talking about. So
up assumptions about people in his head and getting disappointed when they don't match what he wanted and or expected. We'll see this to a much larger degree later. Remember, everything is designed on top of that armature, so even funny little interactions like these that seem inconsequential serve to reinforce the message. Even though Amelia explicitly tells him to stay back, he goes against her wishes and enters the ceremony, where he stands up in alleged defense of her and declares himself her knight. Some viewers couldn't bear to stand the cringe here, but I think that shows what an amazing scene it is.
Yes, it's an amazing scene, but the cringe. Low key, it was like cringy. If I remember correctly, if y'all remember the reactions, I was trying my best to like defend Subaru, but bro, it got to a point where I was like, nah, you're cooked. I can't defend you on this one, brother. Yo, like normally in like shows, right, the main character, I'm like, yo, I got your back, bro. Yo, hey man, yo, you know what I mean? But like, bro, he was like completely lashing out, like he was out of order. I was like, oh fuck, dude. Yo, I can't defend bro. Like,
ends up in alleged defense of her and declares himself her knight. Some viewers couldn't bear to stand the cringe here, but I think that shows what an amazing scene it is, perfectly illustrating how Subaru prioritizing his own ego, his own desire to feel wanted and useful.
He only focuses on his own ego, his own desires, right? On himself, and he doesn't put himself in the other people's shoes and tries to see other people's perspectives, right? Like, the only perspective and the only thing that he is pretty much like conscious of and thinks of is his own, and he doesn't even like try to think about like how other people feel and stuff, bro. Like,
his own desire to feel wanted and useful negatively affects the people around him.
Yeah,
you're supposed to be facepalming at his embarrassing, self-serving performance. There's a really interesting parallel here between Subaru and Reinhard. At the beginning of the ceremony, Felt arrives and lashes out at Reinhard. Reinhard assumes it's about her dress, and not the fact that he pretty much kidnapped her and made her participate in the royal selection without her say. Neither Reinhard nor Subaru are respecting the wishes of the women they're supposed to be serving.
Oh.
What they think is good for her is at odds with what she actually wants, and they're oblivious to it. Even aside from showing Subaru's egocentrism, the whole ceremony is very good at establishing the conflict of the arc. The witch cult may be the physical forces of antagonism that create the life or death stakes, but Subaru's story in this arc is all about maneuvering through the tense political landscape with the figures established here. Krush proudly proclaims her isolationist, individualist stance. Anastasia shows herself to be extremely capitalistic. Subaru later experiences these characteristics of them firsthand when trying to get their assistance, and is blindsided by them, despite their perspectives being telegraphed so plainly here.
Correct.
If only he was mindful enough at the time to pick up on that. Subaru accepts a duel with Julius and gets his ass handed to him. In his very first interaction with Julius, Subaru gets offended on Amelia's behalf when Julius kisses her hand, despite the fact that she's not bothered by it at all. This is all about him and his feelings.
Yep, all about him, his feelings. He doesn't even think, like, at this point, he doesn't really think at all about Amelia's feelings, like how she feels, right? Like, that's a very good example, like him pretty much getting mad on her behalf. It's funny because in the anime, it like seems so playful, right? Like a joke. Like if you rewatch the episodes, right, or like those scenes, I do remember at least there that it was like kind of like a joke, kind of like goofy music, like the way that Subaru was acting and all that, right? Like maybe you watch that at first and you're like, it's pretty funny, but damn, if you really break it down and how like and really like trying to like actually break it down and like how like Subaru's acting there, it really is like him pretty much ignoring Emilio's feelings and just getting mad on just like by himself, huh? That's crazy.
Julius, Subaru gets offended on Amelia's behalf when Julius kisses her hand, despite the fact that she's not bothered by it at all. This is all about him and his feelings, not actually defending her. He hates Julius because it reminds him that, deep down, he feels like he's not worthy to be by Amelia's side. So when Julius outright says this at the end of their duel, that's the real final blow. The ensuing argument between Amelia and Subaru is still, to this day, one of my favorite moments in the entire series.
Yes.
The real nasty side of Subaru's performative, self-sacrificial nature and possessiveness shows its ugly face here. Look at how Subaru's face contorts in anger and makes him look insane and frightening.
Ooh, man. Ooh, bro, that scene, man. Oh, the cringe. Oh, it's so rough. It's just rough to watch, bro. Oh my god, it's so hard to watch, but it's hard to watch and it's so cringe, but that's why it's so perfectly written, bro. It's so good. Oh my god, it's so good. And dude, look at his face here, man. Like, it's just like that's the main character right there, boys. That's our main character, man. Like by episode 13, I was like, oh my god, bro, I can't defend you right now. And when you make a main character that well written to the point where I'm like cringing, I'm like, oh my god, dude, like he's actually fucking up right here. Like your actions, bro, what you're doing right now, bro, your actions have consequences, man. God damn, right? Arc 3 was such a perfectly adapted arc, and the first arc where the stakes are bigger. Correct, yes. I think, yes, again, Arc 1 and Arc 2, perfect stepping stone, like the build up to Arc 3, right? We don't have like the perfection of Arc 3 without Arc 1 and Arc 2, right? Like, of course, right? Arc 1 and Arc 2 were written perfectly to really just make this arc shine, right? But yeah, I mean, the character development for Subaru this arc was also just top fucking tier, bro. And yeah, I mean, Tappei does have huge balls to make the MC this way. And you know what? It seems like he's one of the few, if not at this point, the only like person who has the balls to make a character this complex, deep, right? Original character with like so many flaws, right? A lot of flaws. He took that risk, and a lot of people, right? For example, at least like me, like and a lot of people that obviously, right, like whether it be YouTube comments or whatever, right, wherever the place may be. I love Subaru's character, and it has just been an amazing journey to really see him develop. But some people did never really like maybe like didn't understand his character, never liked his character, and it's because of the way he's written, right? Very flawed character, a lot of flaws, right? A lot of mistakes. He's also not the average isekai MC where he gets isekai'd into another world, he's the strongest, he gets a harem, and he defeats the demon king or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's not just some like very like bland character, or like the same character type of character you see like everywhere, right? He's like very original and very flawed, and Tappy wrote him like that, so a lot of people might just not like him at all because of that shit. But me personally, bro, I absolutely love his character. Honestly, one of my favorite MCs ever, man. It's just seeing a main character that flawed and being able to see him grow, and pretty much like see him now in season 4, right? Or hell, specifically in like season 3 episode 7. Once we got to season 3 episode 7, it was just beautiful. It was just like, I could just tell, like, man, we've come so far, bro. We've come so far, man. Like, it's just really a beauty to see, bro. Yeah, they can't handle character development. Also, now that you mentioned that, yeah, maybe they hate Subaru because it reminds them too much of themselves. I think I saw a video on my recommended. I need to like maybe like see if like we react to it eventually. Again, we have a lot of videos to react to, but there's one that I was like, the title was something along the lines of the reason why Subaru, or it was like something along those lines, like Subaru, like the reason people don't like Subaru is because like it's like it hits too close to home or some shit, right? I don't know, maybe. Like, I mean, Subaru can be very relatable. Not in Return by Death, no, not Isekai at all, right? Not Return by Death and dying over and over again, but the whole self-hatred, right? The ego, maybe putting forgetting about other people's feelings, not really seeing other people's perspectives, right? Like, he's a very realistic and relatable character in that way. You know what I mean? So maybe people don't like that. It hits too close to home. I don't know, right? There's a lot of reasons why people don't like Subaru, but I definitely love his character, bro. I appreciate a character that's flawed, and not only a character that's flawed, a character that's flawed and is able to redeem himself like tenfold, like in a completely different level, and just having an amazing journey, right? That's the most important thing, bro. Like, wow.
Official nature and possessiveness shows its ugly face here. Look at how Subaru's face contorts in anger and makes him look insane and frightening. You could easily point out who's wrong here, even if you were to watch the argument with the sound off.
Literally. I think, even if you didn't, bro, even if you didn't understand what the fuck was going on, you could definitely tell that Subaru was in the wrong. Like, you could, even if you didn't understand what the fuck was going on in this fucking conversation, you know damn well this motherfucker was wrong here. Like, it's actually insane, bro. Yeah, correct. He's relatable in the choices he makes in their relationships. No relationships grow without their flaws and mistakes, and Subaru embodies every single one of those mistakes. Correct? Well said, bro. That's literally it. Like, yeah, like, people watch anime to skip reality and they see Subaru and it's like they're back to reality. Yeah, pretty much, maybe. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why people don't like Subaru. Like, like, I've seen my fair share of things, but it's just you really gotta have an open mind, though. You really gotta have an open mind and try to understand his character, because if you're really close-minded and you're just like hating and not liking him blindly, like, at that point, it's unsavable. But
Subaru's face contorts in anger and makes him look insane and frightening. You could easily point out who's wrong here even if you were to watch the argument with the sound off. Subaru claims that he did everything he did for her sake, which she sees right through, but he refuses to accept that as the truth. He has a constant need to prove himself by saving and protecting others, since that's where he's been able to derive some feelings of self-worth.
Yep, hero complex. This scene right here, literally arc 2. The whole thing about him being useless, right? And how he can be useful, how he can, and you know, and pretty much because of that, right? The whole return by death thing, and him pretty much using his own life as like, oh man, I'm like he's pretty much saying like I'm the reason why everything is good, why I'm saving you guys. It's because of me. I'm throwing my life away and all that shit. So if he puts himself like that, like, oh, I'm putting my life on the line, I'm dying over and over again, I'm the reason that you guys are surviving. And you know, that's kind of like how the argument went as well. You know what I mean? Like I did this all for you guys. Like him pretty much saying like, you know, the whole insignia thing, and like, you know, pretty much telling Amelia that he did all this, you know, for her, and like, you know, without him everything will be cooked. Like right here, there's a very good example right here, bro. Like, you know, him jumping off the cliff and shit, you know,
as we just saw in the previous arcs. It doesn't really matter if the person he's saving really wants that or not. I just want to call specific attention to this line here, where Subaru says, "You don't even realize how the things you've done for me have saved me."
That's also another thing, the whole perspective that he sees and Amelia doesn't. Obviously Amelia has zero fucking idea what the fuck you're talking about. I've never saved you, Subaru. What are you talking about, man? Still crazy to me. That's still such a crazy detail, bro. The entire episode 1, like, you know, the whole beginning of like Amelia saving him, it's just never happened, bro. Never happened.
We're gonna see a way that line comes back in the 3rd act, so remember it.
Yeah.
Another crucial part is when Amelia remarks, "The version of me that lives within your head must be amazing."
Mm-hmm.
She correctly points out that Subaru isn't treating her as she actually is, but an idealized version of her that he's constructed for himself. His real concern isn't her feelings or perspective, but his own image of her, one that validates his sense of worth.
Mm-hmm.
Amelia throws her robe at Subaru and walks out, relieving him of his duty and leaving him all alone to stew in his negative thoughts. This is the curtain closing, signaling the end of the act.
Yeah.
Subaru's position has irrevocably changed from what we saw in the beginning. And just as a good first act should, Arc 3's first act told us everything we needed to know about the story to follow.
Yep. Amazing Act 1. Again, Act 1, you can really see the downfall, bro. That like you can already see like the downfall incoming. You know, the despair, the downfall. You can fucking see this, bro. You already see where this is fucking going, bro. But very well written Act 1. You need this Act 1 for Act 2 and 3 to hit, bro. Like you pretty much you establish what's going on, bro. Like what, like Subaru's flaws are on full display, right? Subaru's flaws are full display, how the characters feel, their perspectives and all that. And now you go into Act 2 and 3 fucking strong, man.
Act 2. Unless you're someone who couldn't bear to watch the show after Subaru's outburst, the second act is probably what kept you glued to your screen and desperate for more.
Yes.
In many stories, a meandering Act 2 after an explosive and captivating Act 1 is why people lose interest, but ReZero doesn't suffer from that problem. To understand why, let's go over what makes a strong second act. McDonald described the second act as the time to explore what happens as a result of your first act. Everything should be cause and effect.
Yes.
When Rem learns of an attack on the manor that puts everyone in danger, Subaru initially sees it as an opportunity to prove to Amelia that she needs his help. The goal is clear: save her and the others to restore his reputation. But he quickly finds out that he's powerless to act. Having severed himself from Amelia's side, he's unable to make it in time to save her life. Now, Subaru must navigate through tense social and political situations, made far more difficult with his tarnished reputation, in order to stop the mysterious witch cult and their assault. Just as MacDonald pointed out, this is all cause and effect. Subaru's choices from Act 1 have removed him from Amelia's proximity, and ruined his reputation with the only people who can help him. Throughout his various attempts, Anastasia lectures him on bartering, saying he fails negotiations because he only thinks about himself. And Krush points out that in his tirade against the witch cult, he never once mentioned Amelia. They're both vocalizing the core idea of the armature. Subaru still hasn't looked beyond himself. As a result, he's caught in a self-destructive cycle. Literally. That's the narrative purpose Return by Death serves in this arc. His self-destructive tendencies are depicted even in small ways too. For example, Subaru's habit of biting his lip. It's an act of lashing out in anger, but it only hurts himself. He refuses to have it healed by another person.
Oh my god, dude. Just the way he said, bro, just him like biting himself, right? It just shows his self-destructive nature right there, bro. Like just him doing that to himself and not letting anyone else like help him and heal him, right? Like every time that happened, he didn't like let anyone like help him out either, right? That's crazy, huh? He just said like it's good, it's all good, it's fine.
There's some great recurring imagery of Subaru freezing and shattering to pieces, which I think accomplishes two things at once. Firstly, showing him frozen reinforces this idea of him being stuck in time, powerless to move forward. Secondly, him breaking into pieces symbolizes his fragility, and what he later describes as the hollowness inside him. It's a really fantastic way to visually communicate both of these ideas.
Wow, even the fucking ice. Even the fucking ice and it being frozen and shit too, bro. Dude, the imagery, like dude, it's like everything really just like matters, bro. Every little detail. Like every detail that you think is probably like not even that crazy, like, oh, maybe he just froze up here and, you know, due to cold, that's it, bro. But like him being frozen time, you know, pretty much like the imagery being like him being frozen in time and not being able to move forward. Like, bro, what the fuck, bro? Like, god damn, man. It's just, the death is crazy, bro.
To reinforce the message of the arc, the main antagonist, the Sin Archbishop of Sloth, Betelgeuse, is written to be a clone of Subaru. As I brought up in the last arc, clones are characters in your story that represent what could, should, or might happen to your protagonist, if they take a particular path.
Yes.
Betelgeuse commits atrocities, all in the name of love for a half-elf without any consideration for her real feelings. He even circumvents death to continue that pursuit. Hey, I know a guy like that.
Yep.
Satella and Amelia are objects of desire that Betelgeuse and Subaru, respectively, have ascribed their own ideals onto. He's ultimately an exaggerated representation of what Subaru will become if he stays on the path that he's going down.
Yup, and I've obviously, you know, I've heard of this before too. Not to this level of detail. He's going crazy right now, but the comparison, right, the parallels between Subaru and Betelgeuse, right? Definitely, yes. It makes so much sense, bro. It's like, it's literally that, like, if Subaru keeps going down this path, he'll probably like end up like some crazy, you know, like kind of like Betelgeuse, right? You know, it's kind of funny, right? The whole half elf obsession too. That's so funny. They both love them half elves, huh? Damn.
The comparison between them is highlighted with how, right off the bat, Betelgeuse assumes Subaru is another member of the witch cult like himself.
Yep.
One representing the sin of pride. I wonder why. Later, while dying in the snow, Subaru maniacally laughs, just like Betelgeuse. There's a diegetic reason for this. Betelgeuse's spirit has taken over his body. We just don't know that yet. But
Yep. So I actually do remember someone mentioning that in the comment section, which was it was just fucking crazy, right? It was like after episode 23 or something like that, right? That shit is wild. He died there and he took over Subaru. So like when Subaru was laughing that maniacally, I was like, oh shit, like what was happening? Is he just going insane? And Well, yes, he's going insane, but it's for a completely different reason.
Just don't know that yet. But it's also meant to show that Subaru is frighteningly close to becoming someone like him. What Subaru experiences in this act is a critical part of character development, what McDonald refers to as ritual pain. It is your job as a storyteller to apply as much pressure on your characters as possible. You must back them into a corner and force them to change. Make it as painful as you can. Your protagonist will be measured by the size of their struggle, so don't pull any punches.
Ooh, man. Ritual pain, bro. And you know what? This is like the craziest facts ever, bro. Tappe literally did. Tappe showed zero mercy. Yo, literally said, "Don't pull any punches." Tappe literally said, "I bet." Bro did not pull anything back, and because of that, is why the growth, the character development of Subaru hit so fucking hard because of moments, crazy moments like this, bro, where he's so backed into a corner where everything is going wrong, where he is literally forced to change, right? Literally forced to move forward and change as a person, bro. Like, that's wild, bro.
ReZero certainly doesn't pull any punches.
Yeah.
Or kicks. There aren't many mainstream stories out there that commit to this principle as much as this one. It's the ritual pain that Subaru undergoes in this act that genuinely surprised me, and it told me the series was interested in mining much more from its premise than I initially expected. But there's another important aspect to this pain. It's not just random, disconnected brutality. It's personal. As McDonald states, characters must confront the very thing they would least like to. And confronting this thing is a kind of hell. More precisely, it is their own personal hell. But through this confrontation, they are transformed.
And that is beautifully said because it's not just blind, tragedy, like random tragedy, for example, like if they did episode 15, but like it pretty much was just like no order, no meaning at all, where it's just like, oh, everyone dies, Lamau. You know what I mean? The way that it's constructed with Ram, right? Like Subaru and Ram, the way that Subaru sees Ram suffer as well, and he like pulls, like he goes back to the mansion and he sees everyone dead. He sees Ram on the floor, right? He even went inside and like noticed that Emilia as well. Like, it's very important to exactly how it says right there, personal hell, not just any normal hell with no meaning at all. Like, you really gotta like relate it back to, like, for example, like Subaru to really hit it even harder, huh? Like, like for like the whole Rem stuff like that happened in the cave as well, of her like getting literally twisted and shit. Oh my god, man, like that right there just shows like how well written and how like it pretty much all goes back to Subaru as well. Like, it's not just like random like shit, dude.
Like to. And confronting this thing is a kind of hell. More precisely, it is their own personal hell. But through this confrontation, they are transformed. For an impulsive, close-minded character, being forced into a situation where they have to be mindful of the nuance and intentions of others is its own kind of hell. But more saliently, Subaru derives self-worth from saving others, so his personal hell is that he's unable to save the ones he loves from dying over and over again.
Yes, the self-worth comes from him dying over and over again and pretty much saving them. And now that he's pretty much confronted with this pretty much, it seems like, wall that he can't get past, where he can't save everyone, he can't do it, and he goes back to the mansion, he sees everyone dead, like, oh my god, I failed, right? And also like the line that he said in this scene too, where he goes like, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. You know what I mean? Like, he has this crazy like hero complex, and he really wants to feel useful. He wants to feel useful, like he actually like did something, and the fact that the only way that he could do it is by pretty much returning by death and saving everyone. he couldn't save them here, and it seemed like he couldn't. It like all ended in like a despair, no matter what, and that right there is what fucks him up as well and breaks him too.
Subaru is forced to confront his worst fears about himself, that he has nothing of value despite all of his posturing. It's that personal element that makes his ritual pain so much more impactful.
Yeah.
That brings us to the lowest point in the story, or to use a term from Blake Snyder's Save the Cat, the all is lost moment. It seems like a total defeat. All aspects of the hero's life are in shambles. At the all is lost moment, stick in something, anything that involves a death. Now, it may seem like all was already lost for Subaru, including many deaths. But no, it gets worse. He actually does get to Amelia before the final loop, but he still hasn't learned his lesson. Notice how he's depicted forcefully grabbing her, trying to get her to comply at the expense of her feelings. Just be quiet and do as I say, he tells her. Then, after trying to tell her about return by death, Amelia dies in his arms.
Oof.
For the next few minutes, we watch Subaru weep over her corpse as the sky turns a dismal red. This death is different. Prior, all of Amelia's deaths occurred off-screen. Here, not only did he witness it, but he's culpable. Both Subaru and the audience are filled with a sense of true hopelessness. It really does feel like this was the final straw.
Yeah.
After resetting, Subaru breaks down and attempts to convince Rem to run away with him, which brings us to another critical beat of Act 2. Borrowing another term from Snyder, this is the dark night of the soul. It's the point, as the name suggests, that is the darkness right before the dawn. It is the point just before the hero reaches way deep down and pulls out that last best idea that will save himself and everyone around him. But at the moment, that idea is nowhere in sight.
Oof. Man, it's just so well done, man. And when he, the way that he mentioned like the all is lost moment, he is so right. Like, bro, that episode 17, right? Episode 17 when Amelia died and he like said like the whole return by death thing and she died, bro. And then Petugis pulled up, bro. It really felt like everything was GG's. It felt, I at least in that moment, I was like, bro, what the fuck do we do? What the hell are we gonna do? Like, I was watching this and I genuinely could not think of like any way that we were going to, like, how the fuck do we solve this? How the relationships are cooked. It seems like everyone dies no matter what. Subaru mentally it's just like broken. Like, what the fuck do we do? So the all this lost moment truly was that, bro. It really did feel that way, and it was done perfectly because I was like like honestly, like what do we do, bro? It's so over, man.
In what cemented itself as one of the standout moments for the series, the subtext of Subaru's insecurities finally boils over to the surface, and he confesses to Rem that he hates himself. Before this, his outbursts were about blaming everyone else, but in this one, Subaru accepts that the fault lies with him. This is a really great Dark Night of the Soul moment because you truly are on the same page as him. When I reached this scene for the first time, even full well knowing we were at this beat and what would likely come next, I still felt like he had no other options and fully understood why he would give up and run away. I was left wondering, is this the point of the story? A cautionary tale that ends in failure? Has he learned his lesson too late? But, as Snyder says, this is the darkness before the dawn. So Rem's rebuttal reminds him of all of his positive qualities too. His kindness, his persistence, and the genuine good he's done for others like herself. What's very important here is that Subaru was ignorant of the full extent of Rem's feelings for and about him. Like I said, that idea from the armature is present everywhere. Together, they reach a new understanding, and I don't think I need to summarize this part. You already watched them talk about it for like 22 minutes. It's probably one of your favorite episodes.
Yes.
With a newfound sense of demonic inspiration, they make a plan and decide to act on it. And that leads us to the final act.
Yep. It's It's just fucking cinema. God, I love that episode so much, bro. Oh man, episode 18, bro. Like, if y'all know, bro, if y'all know, I don't know how long the reaction is on YouTube, but on Patreon, the uncut version is like 2 hours long. I'm not even lying. I love that episode so much. It's dear to my heart. Like, I had so much to say. I love that episode from beginning to end. It was just perfection. Like, I absolutely loved episode 15, but I don't know what it was about episode 18. I think it was the emotional impact. The emotional impact of episode 18 was just on a whole nother fucking level. It felt like every line in that episode just hit, bro. It just hit. It feels like in that episode, you could like deadass break that shit down for like hours and hours on end, bro. Because every line, it feels like it hits and it has such like crazy like either hidden meanings or like just like stuff that you can analyze and like take account into like also like their characters as well. Like every line hit and every moment in that like the different scenes of like pretty much switching between Subaru talking about himself and then Ram also talking about him. Just absolute masterpiece of a fucking episode, man.
Act 3. Everyone understands that the third act brings us to the climax, the most exciting part of the story and the culmination of everything that came before it.
Yes.
But a climax has a much bigger job. Simply put, the climax of a story puts the protagonist in an intense situation that forces a choice that shows growth or lack of growth. I was surprised to learn that the season's ending garnered some lukewarm reactions at the time that it didn't stick the landing, something I couldn't disagree with more. Arc 3's climax is chock full of decisions that showcase Subaru's growth.
Yes.
Here in the third act, Subaru puts into practice the lessons he's learned by rallying Krush and Anastasia, launching an organized campaign against both the White Whale and the Witch Cult. Through his negotiations uniting these parties to take on the Whale, we see that he's become far more perceptive to the interests of others and not just himself. The ensuing battle taps into this as well by giving Wilhelm a personal connection to the Whale. This allows Subaru to experience how his actions have a profound impact on other people, in this case, in a positive way too. Also, Wilhelm's backstory involves him continually pushing off his wife's feelings until it's too late. Not to sound like a broken record, but it's the armature. It's always back to the armature. It's later.
But keep saying it, bro, because it really is, though. In order to mature, you must look beyond yourself and be mindful of others' feelings, perspectives, and I said arc 3. Act 3, the final act, shows that Subaru has learned to do this, bro. Right? Subaru has finally learned, bro, and it's just the culmination of arc 3, bro. The final act is, bro. I'm just getting like, bro. I'm like getting emotional thinking about it, bro. It's just peak, bro. It's so good. That entire arc, bro. It's just like so good, man. Like the Subaru growth in that arc, like Act 3, seeing Subaru being able to negotiate, right? What he learned, right? Being able to negotiate and pretty much put himself in other people's like shoes and like think like, okay, let me think about others as well, right? He like is able to do the negotiations correctly. He pretty much plans out the white whale attack. He's able to lead everyone to kill the white whale. He put all that together as well. He's also able to pretty much care for other people, and and he notices that his own actions and the way that he acts, obviously, he is able to impact other people, but in this case is positive. It's not like the other times where his actions have affected people negatively, and in this act is just the complete opposite, where he's actually conscious of the impact that he has on other people, but he also is conscious of that while doing it positively, and he does it in a positive manner. And the way that also Will was acting, bro. Will, again, another character that's just amazingly written. I love Will's character as well. And that entire act, it was just redemption, pure fucking redemption. and it was just beautiful from start to finish, man.
It's later, Subaru's counterattack against Betelgeuse demonstrates his newly defined selflessness and a greater awareness and respect for Amelia's feelings. I did already bring it up earlier, but Julius and Subaru share senses and see from a collective vision in their battle against Betelgeuse. It's probably the most perfect dramatization of the armature you could do, and it shows how intertwined these two have become. Julius and Subaru are what McDonald refers to as flip-flops, characters who are opposites but exchange character traits. They started off as diametrically opposed rivals, even if that rivalry was far more one-sided, but in the third act, they're presented as considerably more alike than they were before. We see Subaru respected by his peers and commanding troops, calling back to the way Julius was depicted in Act 1, which used to be in stark contrast to Subaru. The series also literalizes this idea that Julius has had an impact on him by having him impart his spirit onto Subaru.
Yeah.
A part of Julius is now with Subaru, and that's what helps him overcome Betelgeuse.
Yes.
On the flip side, when Julius is first introduced, he's shown as respected, knightly, and adherent to a strict code of conduct. Now, this part of the story where he acts as somewhat of an independent agent, an outsider without the limitations of reputation and a strict code, feels a lot more reminiscent of Subaru's role.
Yeah.
He even acknowledges the flaws of the institution we saw him adamantly defend. And he calls Subaru a friend. That's cute. We also reach a narrative beat McDonald calls the crucifixion. All characters of change have, at least, an emotional death that allows them to be resurrected anew. Subaru undergoes many deaths in this arc, but this one has additional meaning. When Betelgeuse takes over his body, Subaru begs Julius to kill him. He chooses death rather than becoming Betelgeuse. This works both literally and metaphorically. Remember, Betelgeuse is a representation of what Subaru could become if he continues down the wrong path. Subaru rejecting that possession is him rejecting that path.
Oh my god, if you put it that way, bro. If you put it that fucking way, god damn. This writing is so fire. If you put it that fucking way, bro, god damn. Is him pretty much rejecting, like, becoming Betelgeuse is like him rejecting that path, like, wow, that is some fire ass fucking writing, I'm not gonna lie. And again, like, details like this and like scenes like this, bro, again, it just has so many fucking meanings, right? And like you could do so much analyzing with this shit, bro. Like, and another thing, that's also another episode that was so good. Not even just arc 3 in general of ReZero, season 1 episode 23, bro. That final moment with Julius having to, like, you know, Julius and like Felix having to kill Subaru after pretty much the entire episode building up to like success, right? If y'all remember, the craziest, like, I don't know why I fell for it. Like, if y'all remember that reaction, season 1 episode 23, I don't know why the fuck I fell for it. I really thought we were gonna have a happy ending. I thought we were gonna have a happy ass ending, and that twist at the end where Subaru runs away out of nowhere and he feels horrible, and then that peak right there, and it just hurts so much because they were able to build up Julius to like be like pretty much cool with Subaru, right? They finally apologized and they're finally cool with each other finally, even though it seems like Subaru obviously is like, you know, hating and all that shit, but obviously they're cool with each other now, and you know, they were able to pretty much apologize and pretty much put what they went through, you know, behind them. And with all that development and everything that moving forward like that, we ended off with just pure despair. Pure fucking despair. Just actual just pain, bro. Like, damn.
Use is a representation of what Subaru could become if he continues down the wrong path. Subaru rejecting that possession is him rejecting that path. Betelgeuse keeps clinging on, refusing to give up on Satella even after she rejected him, echoing Subaru's own response to Amelia's earlier rejection.
Run that back, my bad.
Betelgeuse keeps clinging on, refusing to give up on Satella even after she rejected him, echoing Subaru's own response to Amelia's earlier rejection. He even says, I haven't forgotten a single moment of the things you did for me. A line that clearly mirrors Subaru's words to Amelia during his outburst at the end of Act 1.
Brother. The parallels are so crazy, bro. Oh my god, bro. Like, it's just the parallels, right? Like Pentoge's and Subaru being like parallels like this is so fucking fire, bro.
I told you it was going to come back.
Yeah.
But now, Subaru finally puts an end to him, and an end to that part of himself.
And then he puts, yep, exactly. He finishes him off right here. And that's pretty much Subaru saying, nah, he's not going down that path. It's not going to be like him. It's just fucking absolute fucking cinema. It's just cinema, man. Like, God, bro. Man.
God damn, I fucking love this show.
It's like, God, I fucking love this show, man. I love this show so much, bro. Hell yeah. Like, it's so fire, bro. Oh my god.
But now, Subaru finally puts an end to him, and an end to that part of himself. God damn, I fucking love this show. When organizing the evacuation of Arlem Village, Subaru uses Amelia's magic robe to hide his identity from her.
Yeah.
He's presented the most selflessly we've ever seen him, knowing he won't get attention or credit for it. He's not.
That too. The fact that he's always wanted like the glory too, like the attention, and this is like the complete opposite too, pretty much helping without getting any of that too. Oh my brother.
We've ever seen him, knowing he won't get attention or credit for it. He's not doing this to prove his worth to Amelia the way he was before.
Dude, I can't, bro. It's like everything, bro. It all comes full circle from Act 1, Act 2, all the way to Act 3, bro. The entire turnaround of Subaru's character, bro. It all just comes together so fucking nicely, man.
When he jumps into the carriage to find the bomb, he doesn't even say anything. In the first act, Subaru was portrayed as childlike. Here in the final act, he's portrayed as mature and composed, a far cry from his earlier behavior.
Exactly.
With that, we reach the denouement, which is as simple as Subaru and Amelia having a much-needed conversation. He tells her he wasn't really doing it all for her, he just liked the idea of doing it all for her. He also confesses his love to her, but crucially, without demanding anything in return. While up until the bitter end, Betelgeuse demanded the witch's love, Subaru now respects Amelia's feelings and says he doesn't mind giving Amelia the space she needs.
Exactly.
By doing so, Subaru demonstrates that he has learned the lessons of the armature. The events of the arc have left him a much more mature person, who's able to look beyond himself.
Exactly. That's it right there. He fucking made it. He fucking made it, bro. In order to mature, which he did, he matured, right? He went from like pretty much being this childish, like, you know, reckless person, right? Childish, like, to a complete mature, composed, and just absolute fucking goat, right? He looked beyond himself. He respects Amelia's feelings, not like the mistakes that he did back in episode 13 and every other episode, right? Where he doesn't really put himself in other people's perspectives and doesn't really look at how they're like pretty much seeing him, right? And how they see everything else too. And he finally made it to the point where he actually matured and he is able to actually put other people's feelings into account and not just himself and not focus on only himself, and that is it, and that is the most important thing. Nah, bro, that's not it. Man, love it, bro.
So, Subaru demonstrates that he has learned the lessons of the armature. The events of the arc have left him a much more mature person, who's able to look beyond himself, and be mindful of the feelings and perspectives of others. In the end, that's all this story is about.
Oh, the title drop! The fucking title drop. I see your title drop. That's what the story's all about. That's the last episode of season 1. That's the title, bro. Oh my god. It's just... Oh, it's so peak. It's so fucking peak, man. Oh my god, that's what this story's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. Oh.
Conclusion. ReZero's third arc excellently conforms to the 3-act structure to convey its central message. The first act highlights Subaru's motivations are based on an insecurity. The second act puts him through his own personal hell to make him confront that insecurity. And the third act is a great showcase for just how much he's grown from that experience.
Yeah.
You'll notice that everything in the story is built on top of that armature if you pay close enough attention. It's very methodical and thoughtful in its execution, and even if you weren't thinking about every little detail, you certainly felt the effects.
Exactly.
Arc 3 is something special, and rewatching it again and writing this analysis really reminded me of exactly why I fell in love with this series in the first place. I really appreciate everyone who's been watching and showing support. Let me know if you'd like to see an Arc 4 analysis, or if you're all burnt out on these types of videos.
Nah,
I
bro.
can think of a couple things to talk about.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
care what anyone says. I love Season 2. Animation issues be damned. That's all for now, though. Live strong, okay?
Hell yes, bro. Facts, bro. Like, facts, though. Like, listen, no, I'm not burnt out. I fucking love these videos, and this is obviously my fucking favorite one. Like, Arc 3 is just so peak, you know. Hey, if he did, I don't know if he did an Arc 4 one, but again, also, I do agree. Fuck the animation, right? Listen. I can definitely be objective, right, and accept that the animation was obviously not as good as it could be, right? It had very bad moments, but the story is so good. The lore is so good that, like, it didn't really matter to me, and I didn't really even, like, notice, like, it that crazy, because the ReZero plot is just too fucking good. But that's pretty much it, I think.
Being this far without liking and subscribing is incredibly rude, is it not? Have you no shame?
Yo, chill. I subscribe to you, bro. Hey, listen. I subscribe to you, bro. Hey, man. You know, I'll leave a like on the video too, bro. Hey, man. This is some peak, bro. Hell yeah, bro. Overall, man. Overall, bro. Amazing video. Mr. Dan, bro. Dan, you fucking cooked. You fucking cooked, man. Everyone subscribe and check out the original video of Dan's screen takes, man, the third arc, man. Show some love to him, because this is an amazing video, bro. I absolutely love Arc 3, and seeing the breakdown of it really just reminds me how much I love this arc and this series in general. It's just so well constructed, right? Like, the ReZero story is perfection. I fucking love it so much, man. So yeah, bro, that is it for today's video, man. If y'all enjoyed and you're new, subscribe, leave a like down below. If you want to check out my other ReZero stuff, you can check out the YouTube, or if you want the uncut versions of the episodes, over at the Patreon. As always, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.